What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to 𝗪𝗧𝗡𝗘𝗧𝗧. Journey. So today is a very much red day. I do want to vaguely talk about that, in addition to give you some updated data points very relevant to a lot of investors. Also talk about a huge catalyst that a lot of individuals should be aware of, and tie it all together with some technical analysis. In addition to, I will give you a prediction of where I tentatively see things in the short term as well. But before I get into any of that, you guys know the deal. Smash the thumbs up. Definitely helps my channel significantly. For those that are new to the channel, I do daily videos on trending stocks, crypto, I do it all, so make sure you do subscribe. Also, don't forget to take a look at my Discord, link in the description below. It's a free chat that brings individuals together with a common theme of investing, making money, all that fun stuff. So definitely take a look, it's a good place to be. With that, let's get right to it. So looking at the chart, unfortunately for the intraday chart, not really good things to say. It is largely because of Russia and Ukraine, the tensions in that regard. In addition to, the yields are technically going up, insinuating that there's going to be more rate increases. So those are some factors that's hurting the market right now. I just want to start off by going over the live ticker so you can see to the left, currently $26.14, down roughly about 7%, 16 million as far as volume, whereas the average is 53. Block volume, only 694,000 shares being purchased by institutions and hedge funds today, so that is relatively low in addition to the volume. And I did do a couple live streams over the last several days on which I did bring up the volume. That is a big deal, and whether it's more of an underlying fear of Lucid just missing on their upcoming earnings or whatever it might be, in addition to the institutional purchasing has been relatively low over the last several days as well. So again, if that continues, it's definitely something for us to watch for. But right now, I just want to give you some updated data points, starting with short interest. Short interest right now is 1851, down roughly about 3% from 1 week prior. Utilization is still 100%, and as far as the day-by-day change, it is actually going down 0.82, which works out to be 1.77 million shares being returned. So how I see things at the end of the day, just the fact that shorts are closing out their positions, not much, but they are a little bit. It definitely shows that more so we are at the bottom, and this is an overreaction. This is happening not necessarily just with Lucid, but a lot of other growth stocks as well. And just looking at some of the options activity, so right now, technically there was $1.8 million worth of options being placed on Lucid today, with 67% of them being positive. Yesterday was a very good day as well. 95% of all the options were positive. And I know we are very much red, but looking at the options activity definitely does show that a lot of people do feel that this is an overreaction. So this is a great buying opportunity if you have fresh capital. So just keep that in mind. As well, just want to let you know all this information is available via 𝗪𝗧𝗡𝗘𝗧𝗧. I do have a link to them in the description below. Just want to go through a new round of 13Fs that came down the pipeline. Some mixed. So as you can see, there was one that closed out a put, so that is a very bullish signal. As far as big names, not really necessarily many today. There was Goldman Sachs that did increase their position 651%. So right now they have 11.7 million shares of Lucid. They most likely did increase their position because of it being added to the NASDAQ 100. Similarly, a lot of these other institutions as well. But one thing as well to bring up is that they have a lot of puts. So they have 5.9 million puts, which increased as well based on their 13F, 284%. So they definitely are very skeptical about Lucid. They're not really like JP Morgan, who is very bullish. So you do get a mixed amount of institutions as far as the long-term health where they see Lucid. Some are very bullish, some are very bearish. It is all over the place, and you get that with retail investors as well. But overall, it is fairly good. It shows a lot of institutions getting in, and I do anticipate with these low prices, a lot more institutions will definitely show on the next 13Fs, which most likely in around 3 months, is that they have been buying. So that is one positive thing. As well, I just want to bring up a huge catalyst, and I just want to show you on Twitter. This was posted by 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧, so definitely hats off to you. He looked and pointed out something very good for Lucid, and just want to show you here. So these are all the plans, and as you can see, there is a railroad. This is something unlike Tesla. So Tesla does not have this, and I have been bringing up more so railroads when it comes to European deliveries, because as of right now, Saudi Arabia is going to be delivering all the vehicles to Europe, and the best way to do so is rail. So the fact that the AMP facility has a potential railroad coming to it definitely will cut on a lot of delivery fees and costs, whether it is the customer eating them or it's Lucid, whatever it is still beneficial at the end of the day. And so that is very positive. In addition to, we all know there is more and more studios opening every everywhere, some of which is in Canada as well. So this railroad will definitely benefit, because as far as I'm aware, Canadian National Railway did actually buy and has a direct route to Mexico, so they can definitely obtain a lot of these vehicles from the AMP facility, and especially without having interchanging with a lot of other railroads. So definitely reducing on the cost on that front. And I did work in a railroad before that, so that's why I know some of that terminology. But moving on to my point, there is a lot of studios and ultimately increasing the reservations in North America, not necessarily just Canada, but throughout the States as well. And I have been bringing this up because I really do like this chart. This is for 2020, and it definitely does show that US is lagging. And we all know as well, when it comes down to 2021 stats, the US is still lagging. So with all of these studios, hopefully it'll bump up demand for EV vehicles in the States, which ultimately will be better because then they'll be able to deliver them via rail. And so that is definitely something very beneficial for us as investors. And as well, I just want to cap it off with some technical analysis. So right now, the 50, 100, 200-day moving averages, Bollinger Bands, RSI, stochastic, and momentum. So right now you can see momentum, technically number of buyers is dropping, so a lot of fear in the market right now. Then there is stochastic. So right now stochastic is at 44. There was a nice deviation, so bullish sentiment, but right now there is kind of a more of a divergence. So I do strongly feel that right now it is going to twist to more of a bearish sentiment. And looking at RSI is currently at 36. And looking on the actual chart, this is where things are very interesting. This damn 200-day moving average, which I've basically been saying for almost this whole time period, is something that we have been flirting with. Not enough to actually get over it and stay above it, unfortunately. But when it comes down to it, we have been attempting numerous times and been failing to do so. Yesterday we did actually get over it, but the news about Russia and all of that started to escalate and caused the whole market to go back down, which is, like I said, rolling over into today. So how I see things right now, we are at the lower percentile of the Bollinger Band. Typically, when we do fail 2 times to break out from the moving average, we do trend a lot lower. And we have done that roughly about 3 times, not necessarily just 2. So given that, I do anticipate us trending a little bit more down. And I just want to show you this as well. So we have been bouncing between the S1 and the pivot on the Fibonacci for quite some time. So 2582 is the big deal. That's something for us to watch for, and we are getting eerily close to it. So 2607 is where we currently are. But again, if we do break below this 2582, then anticipate most likely will be range bound between the $21 mark and the 2582. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Some growth stocks are starting to transition and break past the S1, whereas typically it was a lot of the growth stocks were all bouncing between the S1 and pivot. So it does look like the broader market is having a toll on a lot of these growth stocks. That's something as well to keep in mind. So this is more so for the bigger picture. Just want to show you more so on the kind of intraday situation. So resistance levels, first, second, and third, very tight knit. So 29.51, 30.92, and 31.71. On the contrary, for support, you can see first, second, and third, a very big gap. So this is no doubtably why we did break past the first 2. But as you can see, we are technically below the second support level. Right now, the third support level is at 25.11. So again, going back to this, 25.82 is the next support, and then more so it would be the 25.11. But keep in mind, these support levels move on an intraday level. And unfortunately, given all the circumstances, I did a couple of videos. This right here was the best time for us to break out. If unfortunately the situation with Russia didn't come to light, then most likely we would be give or take around the $32, $33 mark. So in the short term, given all the circumstances, especially if Russia's situation does escalate even further, I do anticipate us more so breaking below this 25.82. And I know a lot of individuals don't necessarily want to hear that, but keep in mind, Lucid is a long-term investment, and years from now when this is $200, $300, you're not going to necessarily care. And keep in mind, when you are comparing, let's say, the growth aspect of Tesla to Lucid, because I know that's one of the biggest things that people like to compare is the growth. When it comes down to Lucid, it has a better vehicle, has a better technology, and now looking at this, they have a better infrastructure as well, so they can easily deliver vehicles at a more cost-effective way. So there is a lot of positives to Lucid. So again, if you want to always look at Tesla, obviously you guys can do it on your own time. Look at the Tesla chart, the growth that it underwent over the last decade. This is something that can happen in around 5 years to Lucid. So just keep that in mind. And this is why a lot of this is short-term noise. And I do anticipate that all of this is just an overreaction. Hopefully nothing does come from the Russia situation. And at the end of the day, this will be a great buying opportunity if you have fresh capital. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence at the the end of the day. But with that, let me know your thoughts on Lucid in the comments below, and if you have been buying, definitely give yourself a shout out. Buying these dips are very beneficial for Lucid, especially with this lower volume as well. With lower volume comes a lot more manipulation or ability to manipulate. Just keep that in mind as well. With that, if you haven't already, smash a thumbs up, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. Greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that said, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.